didn't see eye to eye.
We're not exactly. We actually didn't see
so
eye to
they
eye.
did not allow me to have any contact with her whatsoever. We had a couple of visits, and they through children's services, and they made them supervised visits, and they said she's so tortured by seeing him, it's traumatizing her.
She's so tortured by
which I think was a bunch of nonsense.
It's traumatizing her.
Yeah, I have not seen her.
Which I think was a bunch of nonsense.
Well, now that was
I have
1990.
not seen her.
So what are we? 28 years now.
Well, now that was 1990.
And I tried to reach out to her during the film.
28 years now.
We did the call search, found some numbers, called.
During the film.
Nothing. Silence on the other end of the phone. They clicked.
Found some numbers, called.
A lot of that left some voicemails, which you see in the film, but nothing.
A lot of that left some voicemails, which you see in the film, but nothing.
You believe that she
I don't see how she couldn't. Every single night, she would go to bed in her room, which was right next to my mother's room, and she would end up in the bed with my mother
which was right
the
next
next
to my
morning.
mother's room.
And when I woke up that morning of December 31st, 1989, after having heard the thuds, went back to sleep finally, woke up, it was about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, went in there, she was in the bed.
Finally, woke up, it was about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, went in there,
she was in this. We know why he did it. How does he feel coming out the other end? We'll talk about that after the break. How does he feel coming out the other end? We'll talk about that after the break. For you, how do you feel coming out the other end of this process? How do you feel?
Well, Dr. Phil, this is the greatest achievement of my life. Started on the morning of December 31st, 1989, when I was determined to find out what happened to my mother and put my father in prison for life. That I was on that journey, and that is ultimately what started the domino effect for me to lead myself through the trauma and also to heal myself.
Do you have unfinished emotional business with your father?
No.
Do you have unfinished emotional business with your father?
No. I walked out of that room,
nothing from him.
and that was it.
Will he get out of prison alive?
I walked out of that room, and that was it.
Will he get out of prison alive?
And he's up for parole again in 2020, and I will not be there to support that.
Okay.
And he's up for parole again in 2020, and
will
I
you
will
be
not be there to support
okay
that.
if he is granted parole? Will you
We
be
let the chips fall
okay
where
if
they
he is
may, I
granted
suppose,
parole?
but I don't see that happening.
We let the chips
Do you
fall
have
where
any
they may,
need
I
to see him
suppose,
again?
but I don't see that happening.
When I walk out of that
Do you have
room
any
for my
need to
father,
see him again?
you know that I'm never coming back
When
to
I
see him.
walk out of that room
Okay.
for my father,
We'll leave it at that.
you know that I'm never coming
Collier,
back to see
this
him.
has just been great. Okay. Thank you for We'll sharing leave it this at with
Thank you
us.
so much, Dr. Phil.
Collier, this has just been great. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much.
Collier made his documentary with Oscar-winning filmmaker Barbara Koppel. It's called A Murder in Mansfield, and it is fantastic. And it is premiering on November 17th at 9 p.m. on Investigation Discovery. I highly recommend you seek that out. Take the phone off the hook, sit down, pay close attention.
Take the phone
It
off
is
the
more
hook,
than
sit
just
down,
something
pay
to fill
close
some
attention.
time. It really
It is
has
more
a
than
message.
just
It
something
really
to,
has some
fill
information
some time.
that I think will
It really
impact your
has
life.
a message. It
For
really
more
has some
information, go to
information that I
drphil.com.
think will impact your
Thanks
life.
for watching.
For more information, go to drphil.com. Thanks for watching.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Chris Watts killed his wife and children.
He annihilated his family,
He had to break their bones to get them in this hole.
then lied to the world.
He had to break their bones to get them in this hole.
He laughs. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room.
It's a deep dive
It was an oh my God moment.
that only Dr. Phil can do.
The scariest part is a narcissist thinks he can get away with it.
The scariest part is a narcissist thinks he can get away with it.
It was an unthinkable crime that left people asking,
It was
Dr.
an
Phil,
unthinkable crime
who
that
does
left
this
people
kind of
asking,
thing?
Dr. Phil,
Chris Watts,
who
a
does
handsome
this
and
kind of
seemingly
thing?
doting husband and father,
Chris Watts,
seemed to have it
a
all.
handsome and
He and his
seemingly
wife
doting husband and father,
Shanann had two beautiful
seemed to have it
daughters
all.
and a
He
son
and his
on the
wife,
way.
Shanann,
Then, in
had
the
two
early morning
beautiful
hours of
daughters and a
August
son on the
13th,
way. Then,
Shanann
in the
and the
early
children
morning hours of August
mysteriously
13th,
disappeared.
Shanann
Chris went
and the
on
children
TV and begged for his
mysteriously
family's
disappeared.
safe return.
Chris went on TV
But oddly,
and begged for his
He
family's
didn't
safe
shed
return.
one single
But oddly,
tear. And
he
then in
didn't
a
shed
disturbing
one
twist,
single
Chris Watts
tear.
is arrested,
And then in a
charged
disturbing
with their
twist,
murders, and
Chris
even
Watts is
more
arrested,
horrifyingly
charged
confesses
with their
to
murders,
disposing of
and
their
even
bodies
more
in a
horrifyingly
heartless and
confesses
shocking
to
manner.
disposing of
So
their
what kind of
bodies
man would do
in
such
a
a thing?
heartless and
Well,
shocking
behind
manner.
the smiles
So
of this
what kind of man would
picture-perfect
do
family
such a thing?
were
Well,
dark
behind the
secrets
smiles
that
of
led
this
to murder,
picture-perfect family
and we're going to talk about
were
how you
dark
can see
secrets
those things coming.
that led to
We're going to
murder,
talk about it
and
now.
we're going to talk
Take a
about
look.
how you can see those things coming. We're going to talk about it now. Take a look.
A dark mystery in Frederick, Colorado.
Concerning Frederick right now about a pregnant woman who's missing along with her 2 daughters.
With a grieving father and husband left behind in a very empty house.
I have no inclination of where they're at right now. When I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. She wasn't here. Kids weren't here. I have no idea where they went. She wasn't here.
But in a video confession days later, Watts told his father he murdered Shannon in a fit of rage, claiming she killed their children. Shannon in a fit of rage, claiming she killed their children.
The husband of a missing pregnant woman is in jail and now charged with her murder.
The day Watts killed his family, he called his daughter's school to say they would no longer be attending, and he also contacted a real estate agent about selling his home.
The innocent laughter of children is gone.
Mommy has a baby in her belly.
Laughter of children is gone. And the story of a once growing family ended. And the story of a once growing family.
We live in Colorado, and he's the best thing. He has 2 kids ever. We live in Colorado, and he's
Despite portraying a happy family on social media, text messages between Shannon and Watts in the weeks leading up to the murders showed a fractured relationship. Prosecutors say Watts killed his family because of an affair he was having with a co-worker, Nicole Kessinger. In a recorded interview with police the day Shannon and the girls were found dead, Kessinger appeared distraught.
Now the question remains, where are their bodies?
Chris Watts, who everyone described as calm, loving, and sweet,
Chris Watts,
had
who
murdered
everyone
his children and
described
wife
as calm,
in
loving,
cold
and
blood.
sweet, had murdered his
Allegedly
children
told
and wife
investigators where
in
to
cold
find
blood.
their bodies on a property owned by the company he worked for.
If the senseless deaths of their loved ones weren't enough, the discovery of their bodies was gut-wrenching. Shannon's body was found in a shallow grave near the girls' bodies, submerged for days in storage tanks filled with crude oil.
Christopher Watts has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of tampering with evidence.
His motive was simple, Your Honor. He had a desire for a fresh start. His motive was simple. Get a divorce. He had a desire. You don't annihilate your family and throw them away like garbage. You don't
Court sentenced murderer Chris Watts to life in prison for killing his pregnant wife and daughters.
I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them.
And
they also trusted you.
They also trusted you.
You heartless monster. Prison is too good for you.
You heartless monster. Prison is too good for you.
Now, I'm here with my really good friend, Nancy Grace. She is an American legal commentator and television journalist, as well as founder of Crime Online. So, Nancy, welcome. Please welcome Nancy.
Founder of Crime Online. So, Nancy, welcome. Please welcome Nancy.
Nancy, when you saw this case, I mean, what was it about this that you think captured the nation's attention?
While he, Chris Watts, is trying to figure out how he's going to get with his lover. I mean, his wife was only gone a couple of weeks to see her family, and bam, everything was over. I mean, his wife was only gone a couple of weeks to see her family, and bam, and just thinking of her, you know, in the bookstore looking for self-help books, how can I improve myself? And the whole time your husband is plotting your murder.
One of the things that I've noticed, and you know, I've been involved in forensic psychology I did a postdoctoral fellowship in forensic psychology immediately when I graduated. So I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and you see certain characteristics and traits in these people. And he started making really dumb mistakes really early, which narcissistic people often do because they see things only from their point of view. Now, before I play the interview, I want you to watch for some of the signs that we look for when you're doing a behavioral analysis, when you're looking at the psychology of a criminal. He doesn't refer to his family in any kind of intimate way. He doesn't use their names. It's called distancing. He uses pronouns like they and those kids. He only says their names one time. He says Shanann once, he says Bella once, and when he says Bella, he talks about her in the past tense, like she is already dead. And then I also want you to look at his physical distancing. He's in closed body position, and he's rocking back and forth in a self-soothing sort of way.
And he keeps getting further and further from the questions.
And watch him licking his lips. And the fact of the matter is, psychologically, he's trying to wipe away everything he's saying. He's trying to wipe away everything
wherever they're at. Like, I have no inclination of where they're at right now. Like, I've exhausted like every friend that I know of, and every friend that I have has called friends that Shanann has that I didn't know about, and it's just like friends that Shanann has. It's like it's vanished. Like she's not. Like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. It's like it's vanished. Like she wasn't here. Like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. I have no idea like where they went. She wasn't here. Kids weren't here. It doesn't. If it's earth shattering, I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from. I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from. Next Monday, and they were just getting ready to start back again. Next Monday, and I'm just hoping right now that she's somewhere safe. I'm just hoping right now that maybe she's just somewhere she's safe. There, but right now it's just like maybe she's just if she's vanished, like I want her back so bad. Right now, I want those kids back so bad. If she's vanished, like there's no cameras in the backyard or anything like that, so it's really hard to even suspect anything right now as far as how she could have left. It's really hard to even or if someone came picked her up or someone took her. As far as how she could have left. I've never seen something like this in my lifetime unless it was on TV or a movie, and this doesn't seem real at all. It just seems like I'm living in a nightmare, and I can't get out of it. It just seems like I just want them home so bad, and I can't get out of it.
When I saw that interview, I said, we're looking at a killer right here. These are signals like a Navy flag man waving around what's going on. All right, now coming up, after Shanann Watts and her children were reported missing, police went to search the house and talked to her husband, Chris. They videotaped the whole thing. We're going to show you that video and tell you why police may have already
We're going to show you that video and tell you why police may have already thought he was the main suspect. We'll be right back.
Would you tell your mother-in-law that she went to a friend's today? Would you tell your mother-in-law that she went to a friend's today? Who was she supposed to go to? So was she supposed to go to?
And later,
research on psychopaths, and that's a clinical term. It's easy for these people to kill other people because they don't feel stressed. It's a DNA because they don't feel stressed. It's a DNA thing.
New video obtained shows the moments after Chris Watts murdered his pregnant wife and two young daughters. It comes from a neighbor's security camera. It shows Watts walk out of his home in Frederick, then backs his truck up in the driveway, parking it so a portion of the bed is in the garage. It also shows Watts walking around his truck and putting items inside, including a red gasoline can. Then Watts drives away from his home.
Today we're going to take you inside the mind of a killer. Inside the mind of Chris Watts, who you just saw on surveillance calmly loading up his truck before driving off with the bodies of his dead family in the back. Now, who would commit such a heinous act? Well, we've called in experts who have dealt with hundreds of cases involving sociopaths, but they say none even come close to Chris Watts. Take a look.
The Chris Watts case is one of the most disturbing cases that I've ever seen.
Chris Watts is what we call a family annihilator. I haven't seen many cases like this because family annihilators usually commit suicide after the murder. Chris didn't do that. Chris is also a narcissist. He is the most important person in his world, and he's also a psychopath. And a narcissistic psychopath is a really bad combo.
How he just decided to erase his family. He threw him in the back of his pickup truck, drove him, and threw his daughters into an oil bin, buried his wife in a shallow grave.
Chris, like most killers, is not terribly bright, which is why he was caught so fast.
Who was she supposed to go to?
When I saw Chris being interviewed, I said, wow.
When I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. She wasn't here. Kids weren't here.
This guy just gave away the farm. When he hugged himself and the shrugs, that's defensive. He pretty much just confessed to murdering his wife and children. I know that Dr. Phil has a background in criminal psychology, and I'd be very interested to see what he thinks.
And I'd be very interested to see. Well, Candace DeLong is someone that I have tremendous respect for. She is a former FBI criminal profiler and criminologist. She also is the host of Investigation Discoveries Deadly Women. Now, Steve Cardian is a former detective and author of a really important book that teaches women how to protect themselves. It's the new superpower for women. Candace, let me start with you. You saw this tape. You've seen some of his interviews. What did you see?
You saw this tape. You've seen some of his interviews. To the TV people on his porch. The interview he gave to the TV people on his porch. His eyes were neither red nor swollen. This was not a man that had been up all night, worried and crying. Another thing that occurred to me, he says, yeah, when I came home, nobody was here. It was like a ghost town. It was a ghost town. He made it a ghost town by killing everyone else that lived there.
You bring up such an important point. Let's take a quick look at that little snippet.
It's like she was vanished. Like she's not. Like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town.
It's like it was vanished. Like
she wasn't here.
Like when I got
Kids
home
weren't
yesterday,
here.
it was like a ghost town.
I have no idea like where they went.
She wasn't here.
This is a guy with two children and a pregnant wife.
I have no idea like where they went.
Vanished. This is a guy with two children and a pregnant wife. Like you say, there's no redness in his eyes. That is such a good point. He doesn't look like he is emoted at all.
It's what I don't see that tells me something's wrong.
I don't see a wedding band. Has he already gotten rid of
Oh, I didn't look.
He also gave smiles and laughter that was completely improper when he was talking about Bella. He says she was. That's final as an investigator. That jumps out to me as he knows that she's already gone.
And people that are narcissistic and think they're getting away with something, it's called duping the light. They can't help but gloat when they think they're pulling the wool over your eyes.
He was celebrating his
when they
performance.
think they're pulling the wool over your eyes. So let's take a look at this oil tank where the bodies were discovered. This is where he put his children. So let's take a look at this oil tank where the bodies were discovered. This is where he put his 8 inches wide. The width of those girls, shoulder to shoulder, is 9.5 inches. The width of those girls, shoulder to shoulder, is 9.5 inches. Now, to be I don't want to say graphic, but you have to understand the nature of the beast we're talking about here. But you have to understand he had to break their bones to get them in there.
And when they tried to lift the
He
girls
had to break
up,
their bones to get them in
their
there.
skin came off.
And when they tried to lift the girls
They called it, doctors always have nice words for things. They called it degloving.
Doctors always have nice words for things.
He left him there.
Degloving.
So when you say, Dr. Phil, who does this?
He left him
Who does
there.
this is a malignant narcissist psychopath. Who does this? That's what makes these people so dangerous. Coming up, after his family vanished, Chris Watts wasn't acting like a grieving husband, as we say. He certainly wasn't acting like a grieving father. Now we know the man begging for his wife and daughters to come home had killed them all. We're going to look for more hidden clues in his interviews next and talk more about what pathology lies inside this individual. We're going to talk about the fact that these predators are walking among us. We're going to talk about the fact that these predators are walking among us. We'll be right back. His neighbors had cameras, and he's there seeing this footage for the first time.
It was definitely an oh my God moment. There was no doubt. It was definitely an oh my God moment. There was no doubt.
What's happening in that room at that point from the
And
police.
later,
He says,
what's happening
I don't know what else I can tell you. They, boom, in their mind, we got it. I can tell you. They, boom, in their mind, we got it.
My daddy is a hero. He's my daddy is a hero. Daddy, I love you. Daddy.
That was 4-year-old Bella Watts singing about her daddy.
That was
her hero,
4-year-old Bella Watts
just weeks
singing
before
about her daddy,
he murdered her.
her hero.
Let's
Just
take a
weeks
look at
before
Chris Watts talking
he
to the
murdered her.
police. Watch carefully
Let's
at
take a
his
look
behavior.
at Chris Watts talking to the police. Watch carefully at his behavior.
So, been together 8 years. You guys been married. So, been together 8 years.
What's this door here go to? Do you have a key for it?
What's this door here go to?
The hair is quite.
Do you have a key for it?
So you know they keep it locked? Yeah, because they would go in there. They
So you know
get
they keep it
so
locked?
last time.
Yeah, because they
everywhere.
yeah.
They would go in there. They get so last time.
So does she normally make the beds, kids' beds?
So that was not.
So does she normally
Did you
make the
tell
beds, kids'
your
beds?
mother-in-law that she went to a friend's today?
Did you tell your mother-in-law that she went to a friend's today?
Yeah. Who was she supposed to go to?
Who was she supposed to go to?
When did she tell you that?
When did she
I'm
tell
going
you
to try to
that?
run some things down using her phone, and then see if we can't find some. I'm going to try to run some things down using her phone. If nobody, see if we can't find something at all. If nobody is heard anything at all.
Susan Constantine is a renowned body language expert.
Susan Constantine is a renowned
Well, first of all, his
body
emotions
language
are
expert.
detached.
What do you see?
When somebody is concerned about someone that's missing, you're going to see pain or suffering in their forehead, this wrinkling up, concern. When we see him pacing back and forth, that's internal anxiety. So it's a self-soothing gesture too. The ones where he's holding his hand like this, other moments he's holding his head, and that is showing that he's concerned, but it's also panic. There's lots of emotions that are flowing, so whatever we're thinking and feeling is being exhibited through our nonverbal communication.
Well, let's look at him watching some surveillance video. This is in his neighbor's house. His neighbors had
some surveillance
cameras,
video. This is in
and
his
so
neighbor's
they
house.
caught
His neighbors
him on camera backing
cameras,
his truck
and
into
so
the
they
garage
caught
where he
him
loaded
on
the
camera
bodies in,
backing his
and
truck
he's there
into the
seeing this
garage
footage for
where
the
he
first
loaded the
time.
bodies in.
Watch this.
And he's there seeing this footage for the first time. Watch this.
Do you think this may be the first time that he thinks,
Do you think this may be the first time that he thinks,
It was definitely an oh my God moment. There was no doubt. So when he was first looking at the video, it didn't hit because he didn't know that what he was about to see. The minute he saw that, oh my God, that's when his hands came up. He started to pace. And if you look at it close, his also his
he
flushing.
turns his back to it? He doesn't want to look at it.
He can't look at it because it's one of those oh my God moments. He almost has to deflect from it.
Well, after Chris left, the police spoke to his neighbor alone.
Well, after Chris left, the police spoke to his neighbor alone.
All right, appreciate your time.
No. Right.
Walk back and forth just trying to get out. To be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because after the last vacation, if something happened with her, he gets crazy.
That's pretty recently.
He gets crazy. Well, that's why she went and visited people, because she wanted to get away from the situation. That's why she went and visited
Coming up next, inside the room where Chris Watts was interrogated for more than 6 hours, you won't believe the reason he laughs when he's being questioned about killing his wife and his children. Plus what his mistress told police. That's next.
And his children. Plus what his mistress told police. That's next.
What are ways, because I need to make sure that you know what I'm talking about, what are ways that you can make someone disappear? What are ways that you can make someone disappear?
The defendant coldly and deliberately ended 4 lives. The defendant not in a fit of rage, not by way of accident, but in a calculated and sickening manner. What must Bella, age 4, and Celeste, age 3, must have experienced or thought is their father, the one man on this planet who was supposed to nurture and protect them, was snuffing out their lives. The man seated to my right smothered his daughters. The man seated to my right smothered his daughters.
The heinous murders of Shanann Watts and her young daughters Bella and Celeste has people asking what kind of father could be such a monster that he not only kills his pregnant wife but his 2 beautiful little girls. Well, the answer is someone with a narcissistic personality disorder. The scariest part is a narcissist actually thinks he can get away with it. And they get caught so easily because they don't look at the other points of view. Take a look at this video of Chris being interrogated and pay attention.
Take a look at this video of Chris being interrogated. Pay attention to the very
make sure that you know what I'm talking about. What are ways that you can make someone disappear? I mean, what are ways that you can make someone disappear?
He laughs and he smiles because he's at this point he still thinks he's the smartest person in the room, right?
Yeah.
At this point,
he still believes he's the smartest person in the room.
They always do. Research on psychopaths, and that's a clinical term. And the hallmark is that they don't feel guilt, remorse, or empathy. It's easy for these people to kill other people because they don't feel stress. There's been research on psychopaths that oftentimes their pulse doesn't even increase when they're committing a crime. Their pulse doesn't even increase lying on a lie detector test. They don't get nervous like the rest of us do. It's a DNA thing. They don't get nervous like the rest of us do. It's a DNA thing.
There is a irresistible impulse and the impulse not
irresistible impulse.
Now think about that. There is an irresistible impulse where something happens and you just don't have the ability to resist. You know, it's a crime of passion or something where you're blackout rage, you're just so incensed you cannot control yourself. Versus the impulse you choose not to resist. And there's every indication that this was a premeditated crime. He did not snap. You don't believe he snapped.
Absolutely not. Snapping is when sudden emotion and shock happens. You walk in the door of your home, you go in the bedroom, and your spouse is with your sister, or something like that, and you just lose it, and you might pick up a lamp and throw it. That is snapping. Snapping is not premeditatedly taking the lives of 3 people. As soon as he had his hands around his the first child that he killed first, he could have said, no, this is not right. I've got to find another way. He killed her and then did it again to the other child, as only a psychopath could. Again to the other child.
Chris was having a secret affair with a coworker.
I don't know how much he banked on those 2 running off together, because he's seeing other women as well behind Shanann's back.
A grieving family confronts the man who killed their pregnant daughter and their grandchildren.
How dare you take the lives of my daughters, Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and Nico?
I want the world to know that our daughter and her children are so loved by us.
So you ask, why not just divorce this person?
So you
right?
asked,
If you want out so bad, why not just divorce? Understand, a narcissist wants to be the center of attention. The narcissist has all kinds of currency. So what happens if he divorces? He still has financial burdens. They had taken bankruptcy once before. They were in debt again. They were 3 payments behind on their mortgage. They were $8,000 in credit card debt. They were totally drowning. And they had another baby on the way when they already were in debt.
And they had another baby on the way when they already were in debt.
You make money because there's $20,000 life insurance policies on the 2 children.
You make money because there's